Love him or hate him, Russell T Davies had one hell of a job. He had to bring back a show that had been off television for years, explain the Doctor, explain the TARDIS, introduce Rose, establish a tone, hook kids, reassure old fans, avoid drowning everyone in massive continuity, and still have time for the worst CGI trash can to ever eat a man. And considering his second tenure just ended where he failed miserably to do the exact same things, except this time with talking babies instead of a CGI trash can, I think it makes sense to go back to 2005 and revisit when Christopher Eccleston spent one season acting his absolute ass off before deciding to GTFO. Let's get into Rose. Subscribe, or a wheelie bin will eat your boyfriend and replace him with a plastic idiot who still somehow has the same emotional range.
Pizza.
On Earth, 2005, we open with Rose Tyler waking up at 7 a.m. to do all the things. And when I say all the things, I mean all the you normally do in a day. She's just like you. At closing time, Rose is about to leave work when a security guard stops her and asks her to take some lottery money down to Wilson, the electrician. Why she's doing this, I don't know. We never meet Wilson. The Doctor tells us later that he's dead, so he pretty much existed so Rose would have a reason to walk into a creepy basement.
I'm sorry, Wilson!
Suddenly, these mannequins come to life. And I know I just reviewed Terror of the Autons not too long back, so we've already established they're f***ing creepy. The Autons surround Rose, so you know, that shit's not good. But then the Doctor grabs her hand and says the magic word.
Run.
He grabs Rose, they run to the lift, one of the Autons reaches in, and the Doctor pulls its arm off like this is the kind of shit he does on his lunch break. Which, you know, to be fair, he probably has. On the way up, the Doctor tells Rose about the Autons and that he's gonna blow up the building. Rose, understandably, is having a lot of feelings about that, but the Doctor goes ahead and blows up Hendrix. Rose escapes, Mickey comes over to her house, and he's worried about her. Probably not as much as he's worried about the football match down at the pub, but, you know, worried. She still has the plastic arm, because apparently she wanted a souvenir. Mickey takes it and throws it away. The next morning, Rose wakes up at the same time that she normally does, and, well, Jackie being Jackie, reminds her that she doesn't have a job anymore and might as well go back to bed. But then the Doctor shows up at the cap door and he says he's tracking that plastic arm, so Rose invites him in. And Jackie immediately starts flirting with him. Don't judge her. Girls gotta eat. The Doctor wanders around Rose's flat, looks in a mirror, and comments on his ears, which is our first big hint that the Doctor is newly regenerated. But instead of the ears, he should probably be wondering why he looks like he escaped a U2 cover band. Then, and this part will shock you, the plastic arm attacks him. The arm attacks Rose too, smashes Jackie's coffee table, and the Doctor uses his sonic screwdriver to deactivate it. Then he leaves with the arm, Rose chases after him, and he finally tells her the living plastic is here to start a war, overthrow the human race, and claim the Earth. He also gives her a glimpse into what it's like to be a Time Lord. You see, he sort of feels like when you were a kid and found out the world is revolving, and you don't really believe it because you can't feel it, but he does. And it's going 1,000 miles an hour, and it's hurling around the sun at 67,000 miles an hour. That's pretty fast. So now she can just forget him. He jumps into the TARDIS and GTFOs. Rose goes into fake Google to figure out who this guy is. This whole sequence is one of the most 2005 things ever put to television. She searches for Doctor, medical results. She searches for Doctor living plastic. She gets art results. Then finally, Rose searches Dr. Blue Box and finds a conspiracy website called Who is Doctor Who? First sight she sees. She and Mickey go to visit Clive, this conspiracy theorist who has been tracking the Doctor through history. He shows Rose pictures of the Doctor at the Kennedy assassination, the Titanic, and Krakatoa. Nine was definitely not camera shy. Anyway, Mickey is waiting outside and gets attacked by a trash bin. Friends, words cannot describe this moment. I give you the Mickey trash bin scene. And then a plastic duplicate takes his place. Rose comes back. Somehow she does not notice that Mickey has been replaced by a Fisher-Price sex doll, and they go to dinner.
Pizza.
The Doctor shows up, pops a champagne cork into Mickey's forehead, which plastic Mickey just absorbs in his empty plastic head and spits it out. His hands turn into paddles, he starts attacking people, so the Doctor rips his head off, and Rose hits the fire alarm. They head to the TARDIS, and the normal thing happens, bigger on the inside and all that. I had forgotten that she leaves and goes around it, and then I realized RTD had Ruby do the exact same thing in the second run. RTD comes back so woke he recycled his writing. The Doctor wires Mickey's plastic head into the TARDIS console to track the nesting signal, and Rose asks if the real Mickey is dead. But the Doctor doesn't give two fucks, and that sort of irritates Rose. The head melts before they can fully track the signal, but they get close enough to land near the Thames. The Doctor explains the nesting consciousness needs a big round transmitter to activate the Autons. Rose points out it's the London Eye, so, way to be observant, Doctor. They find Mickey in the nesting lair, all tied up like sentient pubic hair. The Doctor tries to negotiate with the Nestine, and we also get the first real mention of the Time War. The Nestine recognizes the TARDIS, and it knows the Doctor, and it blames him for losing its planet. The Doctor says he couldn't save any of them, and the Nestine sees the anti-plastic in the Doctor's pocket, assumes betrayal, and starts the invasion. All hell breaks loose. The Autons come to life in the shopping center and start smashing through windows. Jackie is out shopping because, fucking of course she is. Clive is there too for plot contrivances and realizes everything that he believed in was true and immediately gets shot dead in front of his family. Somehow, the Doctor is trapped with Autons holding him, with the anti-plastic out of reach. That shit don't matter though. Rose just does gymnastics and kills the evil plastic soup. The Nestine dies, the Autons shut down, the base explodes, and the Doctor, Rose, and Mickey escape in the TARDIS. By the way, this terrifies Mickey because he sucks, and the Doctor offers Rose the chance to come with him. And Rose says no. The Doctor leaves, Rose starts to go back to her normal life, then the TARDIS comes back. Then the Doctor opens the door and says it also travels in time. And that's it for Rose. She kisses Mickey goodbye and runs into the TARDIS. And Mickey just stands there looking like a man who knows that he's lost his girlfriend to a leather-jacketed alien with a better ride. The end. I don't have to say much because every one of you has seen this episode, but I did just think of something. You know when Rose says no to traveling with the Doctor, and he takes off, and then he just comes right back talking about how it's a time machine? And you know how everyone wonders how the Doctor hasn't ever seen his reflection before because he talks about his ears, so he must have just regenerated, but then Clive has pictures of him in all of these moments in history? Well, what if he went and did that right after she said no, and then came back? Enjoy your Reddit post right in the middle of this review. Anyway, let's jump into the things that I liked. Let's talk about why this episode and why the return actually works. Because when you get right down to it and take out the excitement of the Doctor finally coming back to TV, this story is kinda meh. No, the reason why this is as effective as it is for a return to form is because of Christopher Eccleston, the 9th Doctor. Leather jacket, big ears, northern accent, zero explanation. And there's something absolutely mesmerizing about him as the Doctor. One second he's got that big dopey grin on his face, saying bullshit that he doesn't even believe. And the next minute he's bearing the weight of the universe on his shoulders. More than any Doctor had ever done in the past. Of course we know why now. In fact, we'll know in the very next episode. But because he shows us how damaged he is under the surface, and we can tell he's carrying something, we feel it, and we can't take our eyes off of him. Sure, Clive says he has one constant companion and it's death, but Clive is dumb and the only constant companion the Doctor has is the TARDIS, and apparently Sutekh. The real reason this episode is so compelling wasn't because of Rose and her being a normal girl that everybody could relate to. It's because Eccleston played the Doctor with severe PTSD, and that was heavy as hell for episode 1 of the revival. Christopher Eccleston is a hell of an actor, and from interviews I get the feeling he was hoping to play the Doctor a little less traumatized, but his speech about feeling the Earth revolving with his hollow eyes, after just having a Three Stooges moment with a plastic arm and pulling it off, is absolute brilliance. He's funny but not safe. He's kind but he's not soft. And when the Nest team confront him about their lost planet and the Doctor says he couldn't save any of them, suddenly this silly episode about plastic mannequins has a wound in the middle of it. And that's the magic. Thank God for the man. He's the reason this thing worked. I do like this episode understands exactly whose story it is. It's called Rose for a reason. And since Classic Who usually started with the Doctor already fucking around on some alien planet, or unit getting attacked by something they absolutely cannot handle, or some dude in a cape explaining a ritual that will definitely kill 3 side characters before episode 2, this was an unexpected choice. But I think it's an important one because this episode is not asking the audience to understand Doctor Who immediately. It's asking the audience to understand Rose. This is not really an episode about the Doctor saving Earth from some plastic monsters. I mean, yes, technically that's what happened, but structurally, emotionally, and from the audience's perspective, this is Rose Tyler's story. I think RTD understood, at least back in 2005, hardcore fans already knew who the Doctor is. But new fans needed to like Rose, and not as a screaming girl that the Doctor has to free from being kidnapped. RTD gave Rose some agency. It's Rose that points out the London Eye. It's Rose that saves the Doctor from being held hostage. It's Rose that goes out to do some investigative work to figure out who the Doctor is. This is not a companion who's just there to scream and ask questions just so that the Doctor can remind the audience what the plot is. She sees the obvious thing the Doctor misses because she's from this world, and she feels like it. The Doctor is brilliant, but he's also an alien dumbass who can miss a giant Ferris wheel because he's too busy being impressed with himself. If you're bringing back Doctor Who in 2005, you can't start with the Doctor standing next to the TARDIS in space and an obvious green screen explaining Gallifrey regeneration Time Lords, sonic screwdrivers, and why half the fandom still argues about looms. Instead, you wait until your second time around and do that shit in 2024.
Once upon a time, Lord.
I like the choice to bring back the Autons. They're simple and you understand them immediately. You don't need to spend a lot of time talking about their motivation, so they make wonderful plot devices while you center the story around the new Doctor and his companion. Yes, they're silly. Yes, they are plastic people. Yes, Mickey gets eaten by a trash can. But when the invasion starts, it kind of actually feels nasty. I mean, people die. Clive dies. Shoppers get shot. A bus crashes. Jackie almost gets blasted by bride mannequins. This was a smart monster choice for the relaunch. They're classic Who enough for old fans to feel smart, but simple enough for new viewers to understand them immediately. Living plastic, done. That's all you need. Jackie Tyler is great and works immediately. She could have been a cartoon chav mom, but Camille Cordy makes her funny, needy, annoying, protective, lonely, and weirdly believable all at once. She flirts with the doctor in the first 5 minutes because, of course she does, but you also understand exactly why Rose feels trapped and exactly why leaving is complicated. Jackie's not just the mom, she is the gravitational pull of Rose's normal life. And she's also horny for aliens. Both things can be true. This episode is really efficient. This thing has to do a ridiculous amount in 45 minutes. It has to introduce Rose, Jackie, Mickey, Clive, the Doctor, the TARDIS, the Autons, the nesting consciousness, the sonic screwdriver, the basic format of the show, the idea that the Doctor is an alien, the idea that he travels through time, and the emotional hook that gets Rose to leave home. And I think it mostly pulls it off. Does it feel rushed in places? Hell yes, but I'd rather have an episode that moves too quickly than one that spends 6 parts watching people move back and forth just so we can get to some bullshit cliffhanger that resolves itself in 2 seconds in the following week. No disrespect to classic Who, but Rose has momentum. It starts in an ordinary life, then the impossible breaks in, then Rose investigates, then she enters the TARDIS, then she saves the day, then she chooses adventure. It's clean, it's functional, it's how you relaunch a show without making the audience feel like they need to do 30 years of homework. Things I didn't like. So visually, this episode is I mean, it didn't actually hold up in 2005. The whole thing looks muddy, the nesting consciousness is just a big vat of angry melted pizza cheese, and of course there's that wheelie bin. I know the budget wasn't huge, and I know that Doctor Who has always had a long, proud tradition of making intergalactic evil look like something you could buy at a Halloween store during a clearance sale. It's truly part of the charm, but still, after all the strong character work, the big finale being just shout at the orange goo is not the most impressive visual climax. The underground layer is also a very video game boss arena. There's a big monster in the middle, walkways all around it, minions on the side, a convenient chain for Rose to swing on, and a special item called anti-plastic. Press X to save Doctor Who. Now, I don't want to give you the wrong impression. Plastic Mickey is funny, but Plastic Mickey is also really dumb. The champagne cork in the forehead is funny, the headless body flipping tables is funny, the weird shiny face is kinda funny, but Mickey being replaced by a plastic duplicate and Rose not immediately noticing is kinda hard to swallow. This man looks like somebody made a wax statue of Mickey and left it too close to the f***ing radiator. Look at him! He talks like he's buffering.
But you can trust me, sweetheart, babe.
Fine.
Babe, sugar.
And Rose is just like, yeah, my boyfriend seems slightly off today. Now, to be fair, Mickey is not exactly presented as the sharpest knife in the drawer, so maybe the duplicate only needed to clear a very low bar. But still, the episode wants Plastic Mickey to be creepy and funny, but it turns out mostly funny with a healthy dose of cringe. That's why I usually tell people that might be interested in the show but have never watched it to not start here, but to start with the Matt Smith era. You kinda have to build up an immunity to this. Things I didn't understand. I don't understand why Rose takes the plastic arm home. I know she just survived a traumatic event and she's not thinking straight, and I know people do weird things under stress. But why are we bringing the alien murder arm back to the flat? These mannequins just tried to kill her. Her job just exploded. She has absolutely no reason to treat this thing like a novelty umbrella. I feel like the Brigadier is somewhere watching this and saying, finally, a civilian who shares my security protocols. Sorry to keep bringing it up, but I do have questions about Plastic Mickey. How does the empty trash bin make the Mickey? Does the Nestine already have a Mickey ready to go? Is this a 3D printer trash can? How does the Nestine know how annoying and dumb to make this duplicate Mickey? Because my God, it nailed that part. So I'm confused about what the Doctor was doing at Henrik's. After he saves Rose from being killed by the Autons, he says he came here to go up to the roof and blow up a relay device controlling them. Which, first of all, weird choice to start in the basement when your destination is the roof, but fine. And then he blows up Henrik's. And the next day, he shows up at Rose's flat, tracking the plastic arm, disables it with the sonic, and just leaves. So, no relay device there? Then later, the London Eye activates the mannequins at the mall without any relay switches at all. So, are relay switches required or are they not? And how did the Autons get into every shop window? Is all plastic on Earth already marinating in Nestine juice? Because in Terror of the Autons, the Master had to take over a plastics factory to murder people with devil dolls, inflatable chairs, phone cords, and goo-shooting daffodils. But here, if the Nestine can just activate any plastic it wants, why not skip the mannequins and start killing people with their shampoo bottles and lawn chairs? If you're new around here and have made it this far into the video, you're probably baffled by my ability to nitpick stupid shit. And I get it, and I agree. But if you thought that was bad, friend, you're really not gonna like
Nitpick Corner!
Clive's website is wild. I mean, had he lived past this story, you gotta imagine this guy is doing YouTube videos in 10 years, probably monetized with a way more robust subscriber count than I have after doing this for 2 years. But you're telling me this man has pictures of the Doctor at major disasters throughout history? Kennedy, Titanic, Krakatoa, and nobody else has put this together? Nobody? Not one historian? No other internet weirdo? Not one early 2000s message board neckbeard? Clive apparently has solved the greatest mystery in human history in his garden shed with a dial-up connection. Also, Clive, if you want to be taken seriously, maybe don't bring teenage girls into your murder shed to explain your immortal alien theories while your wife's making tea. So the Doctor doesn't just immediately kill the Nestine because of that bullshit shadow proclamation the interstellar libs cooked up. Am I right? I mean, fuck's sake. It's not like the Autons didn't try to take over the Earth twice already, and once with the Master, and this is the second time the little creepy fuckers have used their gun hands to murder people in the streets. Like, I really do love the aspect that the Doctor's always willing to give the villain a chance, but this Nestine consciousness once looked like an octopus and nearly strangled you, absolutely killed unit men and civilians, and shot plastic goo out of fake daffodils and nearly killed your companion. And it replaced Mickey with a much smarter version of himself. And it was planning to kill him too! I mean, parlay with a hot tub of melted Barbie sweat. I'm pretty sure nobody in Outer Space Police are gonna bat much of an eye if you kill it after all the laws this petroleum pudding has already broken. So did Rose hold up? Yes. Probably not in all the ways you thought it did. It's not the best episode in this first season and maybe not even in the top 5. Although we do have farting aliens to look forward to. It's not perfect by any means. The effects are rough, the Nestine finale is visually weak, Plastic Mickey is extremely close to derailing this whole thing. But for all its faults, it is a very impressive piece of television. It knows what it needs to do. It knows Rose has to be the audience's way in. It knows the Doctor needs to be mysterious and exciting. It knows not to drown new viewers in lore. It uses the Autons as a simple, creepy monster with classic Who roots. And it gives us one of the cleanest companion introductions the show ever has. I give Rose a 7. It's not even close to the best episode of New Who, but with all the ways that it could have gone, RTD made the show feel alive again. He's lucky as fuck that he cast Eccleston, though. So what about next time? Well, next time we're gonna go to the future, the very far off future, to the end of the world, where Britney Spears songs are the pinnacle of the human experience, cellular technology can time travel, and the last human is a skincare science beyond all ethical limits. We're watching The End of the World. After that, we're gonna dip our toes back into the classic era and do Robots of Death. And we're gonna keep going back and forth like that for a while, and just maybe you'll get the odd commentary thrown in if I can organize my thoughts into something that I feel is worthy of my 226 subscribers. And as always, lots of planets have a salty ham.
Five long years is too long to wait. Bring back the Doctor, don't hesitate. It was a strange press release, remember? Fans were set aglow. The BBC set out to tender, but won't say where he will go. Disney packed up its money. Bad Wolf left the race. Now everyone's an expert, debating the marketplace. Doctor in distress, RTD left a fucking mess. Doctor in distress, when he'll come back is anyone's guess. Rubik's Mom is over there! There were gods and magic babies, and a jukebox in the sky. Sutek rode the TARDIS. No one had the balls to question why. The Ronnie and Omega, no one liked at all. Now the Doctor is Rose Tyler. I bet Yaz is licking the walls. Doctor in distress. The BBC fed us this hot mess. Doctor in distress. No one knows what will happen next. No one knows what will happen next. No actor wants to touch this project. The fandom fell into evil once more, with YouTubers fighting a culture war. Doctor in distress. Every classic monster makes a bigger mess. No, 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 no! We've learned to accept new doctors, though we argue every year. Some demand a darker future. Some say bring David Tennant here. The leakers, scoops and rumors, and insiders by the score. Each screaming fan just hopes the showrunner won't slam their back door. Doctor in distress. Jesus Christ, this show's a mess. Doctor in distress. We'll all be dead before the next Doctor in distress. Jesus Christ, this show's a mess. Doctor in distress. Please feel free to pass the meth.
So you want to know something? I also have other videos. You can check them out here. YouTube's trying to get you to do that right now. Some are actually pretty good. Go check it out, and I'll see you next time with The End of the World.